Hello, my name is Karan and today I'll be showing a webinar focusing on industrial packaging machine. So in our day-to-day life, all the products that we use like food, cosmetic, medicines are packed in a plastic either metal backing. So if we all look back from 1919 till now, the packaging industry grows very huge. But when industry grows very huge, its challenges and its competition also grow very huge. So in today's challenging environment require manufacturer to update and automate their product development process. So upgrading from method from 2D design to 3D design and manufacturing approaches decreases the time to market and increases the quality. So SolidWorks integrated product development solution helps you to develop machine on time, which will reduce the manufacturing and operating cost and improve the reliability and safety of the product. So now if we talk about industry, so we talk about few more areas. So the challenges then we are talking about over here is to anticipate the mass and the mass of the part and assembly, anticipate the BOM of the entire assembly, anticipate the kinematic and the dynamics of the entire assembly. So when we talk about all these areas, we talk about how we can do it. So SolidWorks will help you to handle all these typical problems or a complex problems very much easily. So if we can move a bit more further, I'll show you one small clip about this machine which is totally designed inside SolidWorks. It is basically a machine for bottle capping. So this machine will do what? When the bottle comes inside the machine, it will basically flip the cap and close the bottle. So let's see this small animation. So in this animation you can see the complete movement of the machine, how the machine is moving, how the cam is working, how the things are moving from one point to another point, and how this complete system is working. So now after this small video, so let me just show you a quick demonstration about the same machine inside SolidWorks. So this is the machine that you have seen inside in that clip, and now this is the same machine that you are seeing inside the SolidWorks. So basically in this demonstration, it is how SolidWorks will help you to design these types of typical thing very much easily. So as we all know, all these types of machine, if I talks in a percentage, so if I say machine is 100%, so 80% of the machine basically designed by using our vendor components such as like motor, gearboxes, so all other things that we require. So what I'll do is, let me just show you how all these library will work. So what I'll do is, let me just quickly do one thing. Let me just quickly add a motor from here. So what I'll do is, let me just quickly go inside my library, and let me just take my capping library component, and now what I'll do is, let me just quickly add a motor. So over here I have my motor is ready. So the moment when I drag and drop this motor, the motor will automatically locate its own place and get itself automatically made. So when we do all these types of things, we require lots of mating. So if I bring the motor, do the mate like concentric and all those things, it will take time. So I can make these types of smart component as my normal library component and make these things work fast. Not only that, such as I need to put some fasteners over here. So what I need to do, I basically go to its brochure, open its brochure, configure its size, and then inside that size they have written down the fastening of this component. So what I'll do is, when I make this motor the smart component, I put all the data inside the same inside this motor. So the moment when I click over here, it will automatically add the exact same amount of fasteners and exact same size of fastener that this motor requires for mounting. So the moment I click it OK, as you can see, it will automatically add the fasteners. Now as you can see, my motor and the gearbox is now hanging. So let me just quickly make small support weldments over here. So what I'll do is, let me just quickly go and edit this part. The moment I edit this part, now what I'll do is, now let me just quickly create a weldment. So inside SolidWorks we have a very much big weldment library that I'll show you. So what I'll do, let me just quickly create a reference sketches. So let me just create one sketch over here and another sketch over here. So what I'll do is, let me just make this sketch a bit short and make this sketch a bit longer, and from this side and from that side. Now let me show you the true strength of SolidWorks inside a weldment. So now let me just quickly go to inside the weldment, and let me just start the weldment. So when I click on the weldment, I have each and every type of standard over here, from ANSI, BSI, JB, ISO plates. All the standards are here. Not only standards, all the cross section including those standards are here, and its complete size library. So for this case I need the standard of 60, 40 and 5. So I simply click it, and now I simply select the both the sketches. So let me just select first sketch, and let me just select the second sketch. So as you can see, automatically the standards start following this sketch. So now when I do that, I'm seeing that my this component is interfering with this part, my basically gearbox base. So what I'll do is, let me just quickly relocate this profile. So I quickly select over here and the profiles are relocated. Now let me just quickly say okay. So now what now I'll show you its true strength inside Weldment. So in this particular condition I need to delete this over hang component, and I need to increase this. So inside Weldment we have a trim and extend command. So what I'll do is, I'll quickly select the body. I need to trim or extend, and the body with the reference to that. So the moment I select it, it will automatically does the same for me. So it will automatically start removing the unwanted component and keeping all the important components. So the moment I'll say okay, so I can see the things are updated, and the things that I have updated inside the assemblies automatically get updated inside my part also. So let me just quickly open its part and show you its updation. So as you can see, the part is also updated. Not only the part, if I can show you this component separately, so this trimming also updates its chamfering also. So all these types of important condition for the assemblies automatically get taken care of. So if this component is basically edge, so when I try to put inside my system, it will or put it inside my structure, so it will cause an interference. So SolidWorks handle all these types of small detailed things which helps user to do work seamlessly and without any issue. So let me just quickly go back to my main assembly. So this is my main assembly. Now the second thing I need to do is, I need to add a plate beneath this. So as I have told you, inside the motor I have made the motor as my smart component. Similarly I can do the same with my gearbox also. So what I need to do is, I simply need to select on the gearbox and run its smart components. So the moment when I run the smart component and I'll select the face over here, so it will automatically update the plate beneath it. So these plate calculations I can take from my gearbox database or my gearbox data sheet. So how much thick plate should I require, all those things. So as you can see, automatically plates and the fasteners are put it over here. Not only that, let's move a bit more further. Let me just change to its belt drive condition. So as we all know that our system required belt drives and certain other drives. Not only that, a belt drive, I need to put a bearing or a circlip over here. So similarly, as these components, I can make my toolbox component like bearing and circlips to be a smart component. So in this particular condition I need to put a bearing over here. Let me just quickly drag and drop one bearing over here. So the moment when I add the bearing, let me just do one thing. Let me just quickly add a small mate. So let me just quickly select this face and add a small mate over here. Not only mate, I can change the size of my bearing. So what I'll do is, let me just quickly put one more mate over here of concentric. And last but not least, if I need to change the size of my bearing, I'll just simply select it over here, go inside this, and let me just select the 17 mm bore bearing. So now when I did this, the main thing I need to do right now, if I can show you in a cross section quickly, so you can see I need to create a proper bore for this bearing, so this bearing get fit inside this. Not only the proper bore, I need to trim down my shaft also. So making these types of components smarter will help you in lots of these areas. So what I'll do is, let me just quickly go back on the bearing, simply just right click over here and say insert smart features. So when I say insert smart features, so now my bearing will ask me what thing you need in this particular condition. So let me just select let me just quickly delete over this. So this over here it is say okay, which is a plate part in which the bearing needs to be get bored. So this is my plate component, and which is my shaft component. So over here I've select the shaft and I quickly say okay. So the moment I did that, it will automatically does the same thing for me. So now if I show you the same section view, you can see the bearing automatically trimmed down the shaft, put the recesses over here, and not only the shaft, it has automatically trimmed down this bore according to the bearing. So if I change the size of my bearing, the bore will automatically get updated. Now the last thing I need to put over here is a small circlip. So let me just go inside a circlip, put a circlip over here, and let me just quickly add a one small mate of circlip to this bearing. And last but not least, let me just run this circlip as a smart feature. So the moment I did that, I simply select the component and it will automatically update the recess for circling. So let us try to see the same thing again. Okay, now let's see. So as you can see, circle will automatically get updated. So these type of smart fasteners and smart component will help a machine design user to build machine very much fast, very much easily, because as we all know, 80 to 90% of our component are basically from brought out. So if our vendor is giving us a 3D data, we can use that. Talking about 3D data, we can all and let me share one more thing. So we have a one small area or a one small area known as SOLIDWORKS 3D Content Central. So inside SOLIDWORKS 3D Content Central, you will get all the 3D component library over there. You simply need to put the part and its specifications. It will automatically create that part to you. Sorry, not only create that part, it will automatically find that part for you and give it to you in a 3D form. Let me just try to make you understand why the building a great product is very much hard. So if we can see this market survey, 46% of our all components fail during a new launch. 75% doesn't meet their life goals, even though 85% are fail because of their structure or their fatigue mechanism. The only product that is successful is the product which completes its 2 year or its complete entire lifespan as per warranty claims. So when we build all these machines, we also give warranties. So anticipating all these areas very much important inside SolidWorks. So let us move a bit further. So today's design roadmap, I'll be focusing on these 4 areas: performance, attention to details, ecosystem, and innovations. Now moving a bit further, now let's talk about performance. So inside SolidWorks 2019, we have a very much we have increased the performance of our software. Now large assembly mode is not always required. We have increased a full visual appeal and the scalability. So let me show you in a quick video how we achieved that inside SolidWorks 2019.
When working with large assemblies, view manipulation is vital to a good user experience, and over the years SOLIDWORKS has worked hard to optimize view manipulations on the screen. For instance, large assembly mode will disable mono edges, shadows, real view, and more. The level of detail is set to fast, which removes small components during view changes. These optimizations make view manipulation fast, but come at the expense of visual appeal. When better visual quality is desired, large assembly mode can be disabled, but graphics performance is sacrificed. SOLIDWORKS 2019 changes the game. View manipulations are lightning fast, even with large assembly mode turned off. In a side-by-side comparison, you can clearly see the improvement. Dynamic view operations such as zoom, pan, and rotate are dramatically faster. Users see less dropped frames or that chunkiness when rotating large models. More of the graphics calculations are now done on the graphics card, providing much better performance. In fact, SOLIDWORKS now scales with graphics card hardware, allowing users to further accelerate dynamic performance with higher-end graphics cards. The new graphics performance boost in SOLIDWORKS 2019 provides a better user experience when working with large assemblies.
So when we talk about large assembly, now we have a new thing known as a large design review, known as in a short form, say LDR. So when you are using LDR, the assemblies are opening in a second. Work with the data is needed. So when we are using large assembly mode, so we are not able to do certain things. Now with large design review mode, we are doing lots of things like mating component, changing the configuration, cross sectioning, and all those things. So new options in the workflows are there, capability beyond just only review. So in previously when we talk about large design review or a large design mode, we are only able to just review the assembly, but in SolidWorks 2019 we can use LDR to do much more than a review. So let me show you how we can do that.
Large Design Review is a capability that has been available in SOLIDWORKS for many years and allows users to open very large assemblies lightning fast, giving you the ability to quickly interrogate a model or conduct design reviews. In Large Design Review, users have access to the Feature Manager, and it provides super fast view manipulation to rapidly visualize and move around your assembly. The ability to measure distances, cut cross sections, hide and show components, and do walkthroughs are also valuable tools to interrogate a large assembly. In SOLIDWORKS 2019, Large Design Review has been enhanced to include assembly editing capabilities. Reference geometry, like planes and axes, are accessible, as well as mates, where changes can be made to how a component is assembled. Sketches can be shown or hidden, and can be referenced for adding mates or for visual clarity. If you're looking to delete a few components that may not be needed, this can be done in the new edit mode. New components can be added to your design just as you would in a fully resolved assembly, and these new items can be placed and mated into their proper positions. Mating is done just like you would in lightweight or resolved mode, including the use of the Quick Mate toolbar. Components that have been prepared to use magnetic mates can be assembled as well and snapped into position, saving a great deal of time when doing large facility layouts. Changing configurations is another commonly used workflow, and this capability is also available with the enhanced Large Design Review mode. If components were hidden along the way, you can use the familiar Show Hidden Components tool to restore their visibility. And when you're finished making your changes, the assembly can be saved so that the next time it is opened in resolved or lightweight mode, you can be assured that all of your work has been retained. With these enhanced capabilities in SOLIDWORKS 2019, users will be able to take advantage of the excellent performance of Large Design Review to rapidly make changes to their assemblies.
So in LDR or Large Design Review mode, we can edit the assembly, we can add, delete or move the component, we can add, delete and the mates, we can change the configuration. Not only that, we can change the entire things that we have done inside the in our assembly. So large design review mode, open the large assembly, and this is a new tool inside SOLIDWORKS 2019 which will help user to do big things very much easily. So now let us move a bit more further. So when we talk about assembly, we have a few areas known as assembly delighters. So previously, if we know that if we are using some fastener, so if the fastener, as we all know, that automatically get mated when we put inside assembly, but sometimes the fastener basically in our previous version, say till 2018, the fastener will are able to rotate. Not only the rotation, if we put any new mate inside the assembly, what the thing was happen is if the assembly, if that mate caused some error, now inside SOLIDWORKS 2019, we can group up the mates and we can lock the rotation of the toolbox component. Not only the toolbox component, if we know till 2018, when we create an exploded view, so if we miss some step inside exploded view, we need to do what? We need to delete the entire explode view and recreate the explode view with the all the steps that we required. But inside SOLIDWORKS 2019, we can add that missed step. So let me show you how we can do that.
When working with assemblies, it can be easy to accumulate lots of mates, and with the new option to group mates in SOLIDWORKS 2019, users will find it much easier to navigate the mate folder. Now you can group mates by status or separate fasteners. When grouped by status, mates are separated into folders. This assembly has 100 solved mates. 2 mates are missing a reference and are grouped in the errors folder. Mates can be edited as usual. In this case, a new reference can be selected, and SOLIDWORKS takes care of repairing other mates with the same missing reference. Another folder contains mates that have errors due to overdefinition. Suppressing these 2 mates will eliminate the error and place them in their own folder. Another folder lists mates that reference missing components. And finally, there's a folder for inactive mates that reference fixed components. As you can see, the new Group Mates option makes it much easier to keep your assemblies organized. Many users prefer to have all their toolbox components fully defined in their assemblies, and you can see the fasteners in this assembly have an underdefined symbol in front of them. An option is available to lock the rotation for all concentric mates with one click. Now all the fasteners in this assembly are fully defined, saving a great deal of time when compared to doing it individually. In SOLIDWORKS 2019, there is now an option to automatically lock the rotation of all new concentric mates to toolbox components upon insertion, saving even more time and keeping your assemblies fully defined and conforming to best practices. Exploded views are a great way to communicate exactly how assemblies come apart and go together. And in SOLIDWORKS 2019, creating and editing exploded views is even easier. A new rollback bar is available when working with exploded views. This new rollback bar works just like the rollback bar in the Feature Manager and can be dragged up and down the tree to help users visualize an explode sequence step by step. Notice that this exploded view has the end cap screws moving after the end cap is already exploded. To remedy the problem, explode steps can now be reordered directly in the Configuration Manager. As the rollback bar is dragged farther down the tree, we can see that the inner washer stack has not been exploded. As we edit the exploded view, the rollback bar remains in this position in the Property Manager, and any new explode steps are added above the rollback bar. Explode steps can now be named upon creation, eliminating the extra step of having to edit the name after the fact. You can clearly see that the new explode step has been added above the bar and is properly named. The rollback bar can be manipulated here in the Property Manager, and reordering explode steps is much more intuitive. Explode steps can now be suppressed as well as deleted, and this suppression is available outside of the Edit mode in the Configuration Manager. Creating exploded views can be very beneficial on drawings and for model-based definition, but nothing beats an animation. And now, SOLIDWORKS 2019 supports more video file formats. Flash, MKV, and MP4 formats can now be published directly from the Exploded View Animation Controller or with SOLIDWORKS Animator. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well then, an animation must be worth 10 times that. And with the new tools to work with exploded views in SOLIDWORKS 2019, creating this content is easier than ever.
Okay, now let's move a bit more further. Now let's talk about Defeature command. So as we all know that a Defeature command were there inside our SOLIDWORKS since very much long time. And what this Defeature command do is basically it save your proprietary data. So for example, as we can see over here, this is the data that you are designing for your assembly, but this is the data that you need to share with your vendor or someone in the other department that they will use for their GAD or some other purpose. So sometimes if we need to share this data to our vendor who is building some girder or this any support system for this complete entire assembly, so we don't want to give this data to our vendor because it's our proprietary data. The data that we need to give to the vendor is basically this type of data that which we are talking about. So Defeature command help us to control and save our proprietary data, so our vendor can use the same thing, and similarly we can use our original data. So
creating highly detailed production-ready components is something SOLIDWORKS excels at, but not all this detail is required at higher level assemblies. The Defeature tool provides the capability to massively remove unnecessary detail to improve large assembly performance or to protect intellectual property. SOLIDWORKS 2019 introduces a new silhouette option to help simplify an assembly based on the outlines of components and bodies. We'll start by selecting several components that we'd like to retain their original geometry, in other words, no simplification. A variety of simplification methods are available. For this selection, we'll choose no simplification to copy the geometry. As we add this group, SOLIDWORKS splits the window and presents a preview of the simplification. The view orientation of the windows stay in sync to help visualize the progress. Next, we can use the new option to select identical components to grab all the rail wheels and all the studs. The cable and the motor end plate are selected, as well as the motor, which is a body. For this selection, we'll choose the cylinder method of simplification to really strip off all the detail. Next, we'll grab all the hex nuts in one go, as well as the bodies of the pivot hanger and the electrical control box. For these, the polygon outline method is used, which creates an extruded polygon that fits around the outline of the selected components. Finally, the drive motor will be simplified using the tight fit outline method. This will create an extruded body by using a tight outline of the selected components in multiple directions. Default planes or a face can be selected to help define the orientation of the outlines. Once satisfied with the simplification, the defeatured model can be saved to a new document with a link to the original, or component suppliers can upload directly to 3D Content Central to be shared on the web with millions of designers and engineers. This defeatured model is much better suited for the top-level assembly. Simplifying complex assemblies has never been easier than with the enhanced defeature tools in SOLIDWORKS 2019. This tool will help users share their models and protect their intellectual property.
So in defeature tool, we can massively defeature assemblies, we can simplify the part, we can select the identical components, and not only that, we can have an associativity link. So simplified assembly and protect your intellectual property is the main concern for, or a main concern for this defeature tool. So now let's talk about attention to detail. So previously we have talked about performance, how we can do work fast. Now let us talk about attention to details. So when we talk about attention to details, there is a new system that we have introduced known as a structure system. So say, for example, if this is the assembly over here on the screen, as we can see, a complete cage assembly. If we talk about, if we need to build, we need to create very much detailed 3D sketches. Then we have to run all those 3D sketches with the Weldment commands, and as we all know that our Weldment command is very much strong and very much capable, but still creating these types of structure will take lots of time. But in our structure system, we can create these typical structure system very much easily and fast. So let me show you how.
Weldments are a key feature of many designs, and SOLIDWORKS has long been an innovator in providing tools to create weldments, such as this structure to support the telescope and the Mauna Kea Spectroscopic Explorer. Let's take a look at how this structure can be created in SOLIDWORKS 2019. The definition for this new structure does not contain a 3D sketch. Instead, it's defined with much simpler surfaces, sketches, and planes to make it easy to define the layout of the structure. The new structure system is an advanced weldment environment that lets you create and modify structural members of different profiles in a single feature. Primary members are defined using 2D and 3D sketch segments, points, edges, reference planes, and surfaces. In this design, a window can be used to select the edges of the surfaces, which define 36 members without regard for member groups. Familiar weldment profiles are used to specify the weldment cross-section, and for this selection, a 10 by 10 square tube will be chosen. Just like that, 36 members have been created. In the structure system environment, members can have different profiles. In this case, the vertical members will be changed to 10-inch diameter round tubing. The web members will be defined using sketch segments, and they will be defined using 7-inch diameter round tubing. Secondary members run between primary members and are defined by selecting member pairs. In this case, the location for the new members will be defined by 2 support planes, and the chain option will be used to select the member pairs. As selections are made, new members are added between the pairs located at the support planes. As easy as that, another 12 members were added. At this stage, the members are defined, but they're not trimmed. When you finish adding the structural members, the corner management tool is presented so you can fine-tune the corner treatments. The simple corners will be set to body trim, so they get coped to the vertical members. For the complex corners, there are more options. Initially, each member is mitered to each other. For this corner, we want the horizontal members mitered to each other and the vertical member trimmed secondarily. To simplify the manufacturing impact, the vertical member should be trimmed flat, so it should be moved down to the planar trim box. For the next corner, we can see that the vertical tube has been automatically defined as a trim tool, and the horizontal members get body trimmed to it. The top corner will be defined the same as the first, where the vertical member will be planar trimmed to the mitered horizontal members. The same trims can be applied to the remaining corners of the structure to complete the corner management process. Finally, the 7-inch diameter web members can be patterned to complete the design. The new structure system feature provides an advanced weldment environment that lets you create and modify structural members of different profiles in a single feature with flexible corner management and trimming. This workflow makes it much easier to create complex structure systems without the need to create intricate 3D sketches.
So here we are tackling our bigger design challenges. So in our structure system, in our new structure system, we have a more ways to capture design intent, 2D and 3D. It is independent from 2D and 3D, different type of profile in a single feature, flexible corner management. So these types of new workflow help us to create typical structures very much fast and easy. So now let's talk about a part deleter. So as we all know, inside our assembly, when we do any mating or when we assemble any component, there is a feature known as interference detection. So when we inside assembly, if there is any interference, with a single click of interference detection tool, it will tell us how much interference are there inside that assembly. But now the same thing of the interference detection, now we can use it our part level. So say for example, if I am designing any frame or any system which contain different type of parts, previously we don't have that thing of interference detection at our part level, but now inside SOLIDWORKS 2019 we can use interference detection at our part level also.
Multi-body part modeling is a standard method to create designs like this weldment, but to find body interferences, the part had to be placed in an assembly. Now, in SOLIDWORKS 2019, the interference detection tool is available in part mode. This can bring great insight into a multi-body part and is especially useful for weldments to verify that all members have been properly trimmed. Multi-body interference detection saves time by doing interference detection directly in part mode.
And this is basically a time saver for our complex multi-body components. So now let us talk about UI, user experience. So previously when we talk about at 2018, our user experience is very much good. Now we have made that good experience user experience to bit more towards best. So now we can access our existing design fast, we can easily manage our external reference, and not only that, during my part editing I can do the live measurements also. So let me just quickly show you how we can do that.
SOLIDWORKS 2019 introduces some great new capabilities that not only improve user experience, but increase your daily productivity. Providing quick access to your designs, the Welcome page now lists up to 100 of your recently opened documents. Each document is displayed with its own preview, and the new Quick Filter can be used to refine the list by displaying any parts, assemblies or drawings. A couple of modifications to the blue camera assembly are required to finish its design. Typing the word camera in the new Filter by Name dialog is now all that's necessary to find and open the desired assembly in a matter of seconds. Building relationships between features and parts is a powerful method of capturing design intent. SOLIDWORKS 2019 makes it even easier to view and manage external references. References can now be broken or locked when dynamically viewing parent-child relations from the Feature Manager. When using a top-down approach to design, assemblies can consist of many parts, each containing numerous external references. The references for an entire assembly can now be viewed and managed in a new interactive dialog box. Each component containing one or more references is listed, along with each individual feature, its status, and referenced entity. Simplifying things further, parts can be viewed independently by selecting the Isolate option. In this example, the rear baffle plate. As each reference is selected from the list, its related geometry is highlighted in the graphics area. The circular pattern is shown to be referencing a cylindrical face of the rear mount flange component. Instead, we want it to reference the outer face of the plate. Selecting the brake option removes the relation from the component pattern. Now the direction reference for the pattern can be redefined by simply editing the feature. SOLIDWORKS 2019 makes managing complex relations between features and parts easier than ever. One more modification is required to finish the design. The counterweight for the camera requires a distance of at least 50 mm of clearance between the flange and the body. To increase the overall distance, we'll reduce the thickness of the flange. Now in SOLIDWORKS 2019, the measure tool can be accessed at any time, providing a seamless, uninterrupted workflow, whether you're modifying a dimension or editing a feature. Reducing the flange thickness to 4 mm ensures that the counterweight will now fit, and the design changes are complete. With these new capabilities, SOLIDWORKS 2019 makes your everyday user experience even more productive.
So, as we can see over here, now I can view up to 100 decent opal file, I can filter my search type, and not only that, I have a live measure command over there. So it will make my working life or a designer's life very much more productive each and every day. So not only that, our external references, I can change my external references dynamically. I can new or revamp the user interface. I have a break and lock individual reference type that previously I need to do by going inside to that particular mail and going inside that particular mail's properties, and then I was able to break or lock the individual references. Now I can do simply by clicking it. Not only that, I can view only the related parts. So live measure tools are already there inside this. So now let's move a bit more further. So using SolidWorks 2019 increase its user experience capabilities to make the designer's working life a bit more easy. So now let us talk more about drawing. So as we all know, drawing is a very much important thing for a manufacturing industry. Yes, we can design a good 3D components, but if the good 3D components has to be manufactured, we need to create a good 2D drawings. So creating a very much complex drawings in a very much easy way. So when we talk about drawings, we need to create these few conditions, like generating a complex view, more flexibility when creating a hole and tab area, need to manage our update our complex drawings, and not only that, we need to create a more details bill of materials. So in SolidWorks, we can do all these types of work very much easily.
SolidWorks 2019 delivers powerful new productivity enhancements that make documenting your designs even faster. You can now create a slice section through the model at any location using the new Remove Section View command. Simply select two opposed model edges and the view is created perpendicular to the section line, eliminating the need to create any additional construction geometry. When manufacturing high-precision parts, detailed tolerances are critical to ensure that a high degree of accuracy is achieved. ISO tolerance modifying symbols and other text can now be added directly to dimensions and tolerances. Simply select a dimension, then use the new options available in the Property Manager to choose the desired modifier symbol for general or upper and lower limits. The resulting dimension contains all the necessary information required for high-precision manufacturing. Hole tables are a great way of displaying hole location and size information without having to use dimensions that would potentially make a drawing look cluttered and difficult to interpret. SolidWorks 2019 introduces new options that deliver even greater flexibility over the way holes are tagged. Reduce toolpath calculates the shortest distance to connect all holes, providing the most efficient order from a manufacturing perspective, and radial tags the holes in a radial pattern from the origin. In addition to tag order, tag type can now be manually defined, giving you total control over how holes are labelled. At any time, the tag for an individual hole or group can be changed with a simple right mouse button click over the cell, followed by assigning a prefix. These new options give you complete control over every aspect of a hole table's format and style. SolidWorks' integrated design environment ensures that any changes to a model can be automatically propagated to its associated drawing. Now in SolidWorks 2019 you can control the update of individual drawing views by simply picking one or more, then selecting the new Exclude from Automatic Update option in the Property Manager. With a plan view, section and its related detail views on the drawing sheet now excluded, we'll open the camera body part and increase the thickness of the rear flange to 13mm. When switching back to the drawing, excluded views are highlighted with an orange hatch border and rebuild flags in the Feature Manager. When you are ready to update, just select one or more excluded views, followed by the new Update View option from the shortcut toolbar. With SolidWorks 2019, it's now easier than ever to manage updates to large or complex drawings. SolidWorks creates highly configurable bills of materials directly from your assembly designs. In addition to the information displayed in the table, for added transparency, each component can be easily identified by displaying a graphical preview. Now in SolidWorks 2019, when saving a bill of materials to Microsoft Excel, these component previews can be included in the Excel spreadsheet. The graphical preview provides even greater clarity, reducing the risk of identifying parts incorrectly. These are some of the powerful new productivity enhancements in SolidWorks drawings that will help you get your designs documented faster.
So inside drawing, we can now remove the section view type, we have a new remove section util. We have renaming and renumbering of the tag hole tables. We can delay the individual view updates. So we can, not only that, we have a component images inside our BOM, and when I export that BOM inside Excel sheet, the images also get exported inside the Excel sheet. So these are the few features inside drawing which increase my performance and a greater flexibility. So now let us talk a bit about, so when we talk about a design ecosystem, let's talk about eDrawing. So as we all know that eDrawing is a very much old tool that SolidWorks will give you. It comes in a both standard and in a professional in a professional license also. And eDrawing is basically a free license, so anybody can download and use it. So when we talk about eDrawings, the things that now eDrawing has been improved is now it can save your normal eDrawing file into a 3D HTML format. So now what is a 3D HTML format? Basically 3D HTML format is a format which you can send it to your user if your user is using any smart devices or a laptop. So in laptop we all know that we can download the eDrawings and use the eDrawings file, but what about the smartphones? Inside smartphones we don't have the eDrawing software. If we can go towards Apple iStore, Apple iStore and a Google Store, we found that the eDrawing is basically a purchasable thing. But now eDrawing gives you a support in a 3D HTML format. So if I save the 3D HTML format, so the user who are using your smartphone or a WhatsApp feature can send you the 3D HTML file of a eDrawing. The moment he tab on that file will open inside its smartphone, and the user can do each and every type of movement of that view. Not only the movement of the view, it can support its configurations also. So let me show you how we can do that.
eDrawings is an excellent tool for viewing CAD models and now gets even more valuable for 2019. eDrawings now supports several new CAD file formats: Parasolid, Solid Edge, ACES, JT, and NX files are now supported for viewing, making eDrawings your go-to choice for CAD file viewing. Viewing configuration data has always been available for exported ePRT and eASM files. Now with eDrawings 2019, configuration data can be viewed for native SOLIDWORKS part and assembly files, saving the step of exporting the data to eDrawings format. Sharing CAD data from eDrawings is a great way to collaborate, and with the new web HTML output, eDrawings models can be shared in a new format that opens in any browser without the need for extensions or installation. Familiar tools are available, such as access to the component tree, and configurations that exist in a model can be displayed. A handy explode tool is available to see parts contained in an assembly, and sectioning allows better visualization of internal components. All of the eDrawings viewing tools are available, such as view animation, standard views, and model display. Ambient occlusion can be turned on as well for added realism when viewing models. And finally, performance in eDrawings gets a big boost. On the left is eDrawings 2018, and on the right, eDrawings 2019. As we rotate the observatory assembly in eDrawings 2018, you can notice that there's a bit of delay before the assembly catches up to the mouse. And you'll notice that some of the smaller details in the lower floors get removed. This removal of detail during rotation is done by design to help speed view manipulation, but comes at the expense of visual appeal. In eDrawings 2019, when rotating the same assembly, you can see that there is no noticeable delay, and the smaller details on the lower floors remain. All of the view manipulations feel immediate and effortless, and the same goes for component selection, providing a much better user experience when viewing very large assemblies. eDrawings 2019 extends its capabilities to view more CAD file types, offers better sharing through the new web HTML output, and provides a big performance boost when viewing large assemblies.
So these are some of the new features that helps the user to share and collaborate their designs inside eDrawings. So we are talking about new supported file type like 3D HTML, and we are talking about a configuration support. So now let us move a bit more further. Now let us move a bit more further about one more feature known as a Treehouse. What is a Treehouse? Treehouse is basically a feature that a user use to share its entire assembly information from technical department to a non-technical department or towards the management. So what basically it helps you to give the BOM a bit enhanced output. So how the trees it was launched a bit few years back, and now we have increased its more productivity. So what we are doing is we have enhanced the BOM output, we have managed the critical design information. Not only that, we have highly configurable structure to display. So let me just show you how we can use the Treehouse.
SOLIDWORKS Treehouse 2019 delivers some fantastic new capabilities for creating and managing assembly structures. When viewing large assemblies that contain many branches, the new setting to control the display of file images for each node is a great way of maximising the amount of screen area available. Using a new toggle in the options dialog box, file images can be hidden or shown, giving you more control over how your assemblies are displayed. Traditionally, Treehouse has always used a file name to identify each node in the structure. Now in Treehouse 2019, you can use any available custom property as the display name instead. The majority of parts in the turret hub assembly have been saved using a part number. Let's switch the display name to use the description property to make it even easier to identify each component in the structure. Adding new items to an assembly is quick and easy. A simple drag and drop is all that's required to add a new part to the turret axle subassembly. In Treehouse 2019, you can now create custom properties and apply values to new and pre-existing files, without having to open them in SOLIDWORKS. This is yet another powerful way Treehouse helps you manage your critical design information. Exporting to Microsoft Excel is a great way of sharing assembly structure information outside of the design department. In Treehouse 2019, you can now include the component graphical preview images, which provide even greater clarity, reducing the risk of misidentifying parts. In SOLIDWORKS 2019, Treehouse provides you with even greater flexibility when creating and managing assembly structures.
So the Treehouse is the thing that you can use to communicate your design from one department to another department. You can enhance the BOM output from a normal Excel to a Excel with the images. So now let us a bit move further. So if we talk about a feature update from 2015 to 2019, we have a lots of big feature updates we have done. So at part level, if we talk about, we have around 32 feature added at a part level, and if we talk about at the assembly level, we have around 33 new features are added. In mates, we have added around 17 new features. For drawings, we have added around 23 new features. Not only that, for costing, costing is a very much good tool. If the person who are using SolidWorks CAD professional, they can do the costing at the part level, and the persons who are using the SolidWorks premium CAD, they can do the costing for complete assembly level. So not only this area, we have includes 15 new feature, including that structure system that I have shown you a few minutes back for the telescope assembly, and including that we have around 15 new features that we have added inside the Weldment. Not only that, we have launched a new learning website known as mysolidworks.com. You can use that also, and inside eDrawings, as we all know, we have put a new file formats, and not only that, new file formats, we have put a 3D HTML format. So I have shown you the entire strength of my SolidWorks, how it can help the user to work for a process machine design industry. So my name is Karan. Thank you for listening my webinar.